Hello, everyone. Get ready for tonight's story. Put your headphones on and listen closely. This is a story about something that happened to a guy named Marcus. And honestly, it still doesn't sit right with me. Marcus was 24 at the time, working the late shift at a distribution center, about 40 minutes from where he lived. The hours were brutal, but the pay was decent, and he needed it. His shift ended at midnight, which meant he'd usually get home around 12:45 if traffic was light. And at that hour, traffic was always light. The drive home was straightforward. Same route every night. Highway for most of it. Then a series of back roads that cut through some older neighborhoods before eventually leading to his apartment complex. There was one intersection in particular, right where Oakmont Avenue crossed Miller Road. Nothing special about it. Just a regular four-way stop with a broken streetlight that the city apparently had no intention of fixing. Marcus passed through it every single night without thinking twice, until the night he saw the old man. It was a Tuesday, sometime in late October. Marcus was driving home like always, windows cracked, radio playing low. He was tired, zoning out a little, just going through the motions, when he rolled up to the intersection and stopped. He glanced to his right, out of habit. That's when he saw him, an elderly man, probably in his 70s, standing on the corner under the one working street light about 30 feet away. He was wearing a dark coat that looked too heavy for the weather, and he was just standing there, perfectly still, staring directly at Marcus's car. Marcus didn't think much of it at first. Maybe the guy was waiting for someone, or out for a late walk. It was weird, sure, but not alarming. He completed his stop, checked both ways, and drove through the intersection. As he passed, he caught another glimpse of the man in his rearview mirror, still standing there, still staring. The next night, same thing. Marcus pulled up to the intersection around the same time, maybe 12:40, and there he was again. Same spot, same coat, same vacant stare aimed right at Marcus's headlights. This time, Marcus slowed down a little after he passed, watching in his mirror. The old man didn't move, didn't turn his head to follow the car. Just stood there like a statue until Marcus turned the corner and lost sight of him. By the third night, Marcus was expecting it. He told himself it was probably just some old guy with insomnia or dementia wandering out at night. It happened. Still, there was something off about it. The way he stood, so perfectly still. The way he never seemed to blink or shift his weight. And always, in the exact same spot. On the fourth night, things changed. Marcus approached the intersection and saw him standing there as usual. But this time, the moment Marcus's car came to a complete stop, the old man started walking toward him. Not fast, not slow, just a steady, purposeful walk directly towards the driver's side window. Marcus felt his stomach drop. He didn't wait to see what would happen. He checked the intersection, saw it was clear, and drove through without completing his full stop. As he accelerated away, he looked in the rearview mirror and saw the man had stopped walking. He was standing in the middle of the road now, still facing Marcus's direction, arms hanging at his sides. Marcus tried to rationalize it. Maybe the guy needed help. Maybe he was confused and thought Marcus was someone he knew. But something about the way he moved, so deliberate and emotionless, made Marcus's skin crawl. That night, he took a different route home. It added about 10 minutes to his drive, but it was worth it to avoid that intersection. The next day at work, he mentioned it to one of his co-workers, a guy named Devin, who had lived in the area his whole life. Marcus described the intersection and the old man, expecting Devon to laugh it off, or maybe know something about a local eccentric. Instead, Devon's face went serious. He asked Marcus if the man was wearing a dark coat, maybe charcoal or black. Marcus said yes. Devon nodded slowly and told him to keep taking the long road home. Marcus pressed him for details, but Devon wouldn't elaborate. He just said that intersection had a reputation, and people who lived nearby knew to avoid it after midnight if they could. That wasn't the answer Marcus wanted, but it was enough to make him nervous. He stuck to the alternate route for the next week. But here's the thing about avoiding something. It stays in your head. Marcus couldn't stop thinking about it. About that old man just standing there night after night. About the way he'd started walking toward the car. About Devon's reaction when he brought it up. It became this nagging presence in the back of his mind. And eventually, curiosity got the better of him. 2 weeks after he'd started taking the long way, Marcus decided to drive past the intersection again. Just to see. He told himself it was stupid, that the old man probably wasn't even out there anymore. But he needed to know. He needed to confirm that it was just some weird coincidence and nothing more. It was a Friday night, just past midnight. Marcus turned onto Oakmont Avenue, his hands gripping the steering wheel a little tighter than usual. As he approached the intersection, his headlights swept across the corner. Empty. No one there. Marcus felt a wave of relief wash over him. See? Nothing. Just his imagination getting the best of him. He came to a stop at the intersection, and that's when he saw movement in his peripheral vision. His head snapped to the right, and there he was. The old man wasn't standing under the streetlight anymore. He was closer now, maybe 15 feet from the car, standing in the middle of the sidewalk. And he was already walking, not toward the car this time, but parallel to it, matching Marcus's position, as if he'd been waiting for him to stop. Marcus's heart was pounding. He started to pull forward, and the old man's walk turned into a jog. Not a run, but a faster, more urgent pace. Marcus pressed the gas harder, and the man broke into a full sprint, angling directly toward the driver's side door. Marcus could hear his own breathing now, short and panicked, as he accelerated through the intersection. He caught a glimpse of the man in his side mirror, still running, his face completely blank. No expression, no strain from the effort, just empty. Marcus didn't stop driving until he was home with his door locked behind him. He barely slept that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw that blank face sprinting toward him in the dark. The next day, he called Devon and told him what happened. There was a long silence on the other end of the line before Devon finally spoke. He said there used to be a nursing home about a mile from that intersection. Back in the 90s, one of the residents, an older man with severe dementia, wandered out one night and was hit by a car right at that corner. The driver didn't stop, just kept going. They found the man's body the next morning, but they never found the driver. Marcus asked why Devon hadn't told him this before. Devon said he didn't want to freak him out, and besides, he thought Marcus would be smart enough to just stay away. Then Devon told him something that made Marcus's blood run cold. The man who was killed, he used to wait by the road every night. The nursing staff said he was obsessed with the idea that his son was coming to pick him up, even though his son had died years earlier. Every night, he'd stand by the window, watching the road, waiting. And on the night he wandered out, witnesses said he was trying to flag down cars, running toward them, desperate for someone to stop. Marcus hung up the phone and sat in silence for a long time. He wanted to believe it was just a story, some urban legend Devon was using to mess with him. But he'd seen the man. He'd seen that blank, desperate face. He never drove through that intersection again. He didn't even drive past it. He took the long route every single night. No exceptions. Even when he was exhausted and just wanted to get home. For a while, that seemed to be the end of it. Until about 3 months later, when Marcus was pulling to his apartment complex late one night. He parked in his usual spot and was walking toward his building when he heard footsteps behind him. Fast, heavy footsteps. He turned around, and there, under the parking lot lights, about 20 feet away and closing the distance, was the old man in the dark coat, running straight toward him. Same blank expression, those same empty eyes. Marcus ran. He didn't think, didn't hesitate. He just ran to his apartment, fumbled with his keys, and slammed the door shut behind him. He stood there in the dark, his back pressed against the door, listening. For a long time, there was nothing. Then, slow and deliberate, he heard 3 knocks on the door, then silence. Marcus didn't sleep that night, or the next. He started parking in different spots, coming home at different times. But it didn't matter. Every few nights, he'd see him. Sometimes in the parking lot, sometimes standing across the street under a tree. Once, he saw him standing outside the window of the distribution center where he worked, just staring in through the glass. Marcus quit his job 2 weeks later. He moved out of his apartment and went to stay with his sister in another state. He didn't tell her why, just said he needed a change. As far as I know, he's still there. He doesn't drive at night anymore, doesn't go out after dark if he can help it, and he's never gone back to that town. But here's the part that still bothers me. About a month after Marcus left, I was talking to Devin again, and I asked him if he'd heard from Marcus. Devin said no, and then he went quiet for a second before asking me something strange. He wanted to know if Marcus had ever mentioned seeing the old man anywhere other than that intersection. I told him what Marcus had told me about the parking lot and the window at work. Devin didn't say anything for a while. Then he just said, "That's not good." I asked him what he meant, and he told me that according to the stories, once the old man starts following you, once he starts showing up outside that intersection, it means he's chosen you. He's decided you're the one he's been waiting for, the one who's supposed to stop. I haven't talked to Marcus in a while. I've tried calling a few times, but he doesn't pick up. His sister says he's fine, just busy, but there's something in her voice that doesn't sound right, like she's trying to convince herself as much as me. I think about him sometimes, about what it must be like, always looking over your shoulder, always wondering if tonight's the night you'll see that dark coat and that blank face running toward you in the dark, always wondering what happens if you're not fast enough, if he finally catches up. I don't know where Marcus is now, but I hope wherever he is, he's somewhere the old man can't find him, because from what Devin told me, once he starts following you, he doesn't stop. He just keeps coming, night after night, getting closer, waiting for you to finally do what that driver should have done. All those years ago, he's waiting for you to stop. So here's what I want to know. If you were Marcus, what would you do? Would you keep running, keep moving from place to place, never staying anywhere too long? Or would you eventually stop, turn around, and face whatever it is that's been chasing you? Because maybe that's what it wants. Maybe that's what it's been waiting for all along. If you made it this far, thanks for listening. Stories like this one keep me up at night, and I hope it does the same for you. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I've got plenty more where this came from. And trust me, some of them are even worse. Drop a comment and let me know. Have you ever seen something that followed you home? Something that wouldn't let you go no matter how far you ran? I'll see you in the next one. And hey, drive safe out there. You never know who might be waiting at that next intersection.